I spent a whole day chasing a dip in my room EQ wizard plot that didn't actually exist. Same speakers, same microphone, same room, same track. Eventually I sorted it. The only thing that changed is the microphone moved 6 inches, and the dip, gone. It was never there. This is trap number 1, the single point trap, and the single point trap is just the beginning. There are 2 more, and a foolproof way to check you haven't fallen into any of them. This is not a criticism of REW. It's brilliant software, and it is free, but it is not neutral. No measurement software is. If you don't understand what it is doing to your plot before it shows it to you, you're not measuring your room. You're measuring what the software wants you to see. The graph showed a confusing picture, peaks and dips, a significant dip at around 47 Hz. If you trust the measurement, and most people do, you would conclude there is a problem at 47 Hz. You might apply EQ. You might move your speakers. You might buy treatment. Or buy some new gadget. I moved the microphone 3 times. Not by a meter. Not even by 30 centimeters. Just a few inches backwards and forwards. Same height, same angle, same everything. The dip moved. Same room. Same speakers. Same amplifier. Same track. Different microphone position. Completely different diagnosis. This is trap number 1, the single point trap, and almost everyone falls into it. Most REW tutorials show you how to take a measurement. Very few show you what the measurement is actually saying. You've done the work. The waterfall decays cleanly, frequency response within a few dB, and you are still missing something. REW is free and it's brilliant software, but it is not neutral. No measurement software is. Your brain does not listen from a single point in space. When you sit in your listening chair, your head is not fixed in a vice. You move slightly, you lean forward, you turn your head. Your brain is constantly integrating sound arriving at 2 ears from multiple angles across tiny head movements. It builds a 3-dimensional acoustic picture of the room. A single microphone at a single point captures none of this. It records pressure at one location, at one moment, from one angle. That is not how you hear. That is not how anyone hears. Think of it like looking at stars. The stars do not become brighter when you leave the city. The sky becomes darker. The measurement microphone is like a telescope pointed at one patch of sky. It tells you something true, but it does not tell you what you would see if you could take in the whole sky at once. And REW will happily show it to you and let you believe it is real. When you take multiple measurements across your listening area and average them, the single point anomalies cancel out. Then smooth. The 47 Hz dip that appeared in one position but not another, gone. What remains is what is actually present across your listening position, not a ghost, not a measurement artifact, the real acoustic behavior of your room. The spatial average and smoothing reveals the truth, and most people never do it. The average graph gives you knowledge to base your decisions on. Smoothing enables us to make comparisons and see the overall patterns. Measurement shows you what is happening. Listening tells you whether it matters, but if the measurement is incomplete, you are optimizing for a room that does not exist. Listening tells you whether it matters, but if the measurement is incomplete, you are optimizing for a room that does not exist. But hang on, how can you deal with this? Now for trap 3. This takes a couple of minutes to explain, but will save you from spending hundreds on the wrong acoustic panel. To understand trap 2, we have to look at the laws of digital audio. It comes down to 2 names you have probably heard, Nyquist and Shannon. Their sampling theorem tells us that to avoid aliasing or false results, we must sample at least twice as fast as the highest frequency we want to reproduce. But there's a problem. Frequency resolution requires time. To distinguish between a room mode at 40 Hz and one at 41 Hz, your observation time window has to be about 1 second long. That isn't a limitation of REW. It's a fundamental property of Fourier analysis. The longer you observe, the more precisely you can measure frequency, but the less precisely you know exactly when events occurred. You can't make both kinds of precision arbitrarily high at the same time, and in just a moment, you'll see why that matters. Think of it like a high-speed camera. You can have a crystal clear still photo of a race car, the frequency, but you lose the sense of motion, the time. Or you can have a motion blurred shot that shows the speed, but the car is a smudge. REW isn't lying to you. It's choosing to give you the clear, still photo. It's obeying the laws of physics. But as listeners, we don't live in a still photo. We live in the motion of the music. So how does help us with the 3 answers we need? I'll tell you more in a few seconds. This trap 2 trade-off is fundamental. It is not a limitation of REW. It is built into information theory itself, yet many users are unaware of it. They look at a waterfall plot and assume it captures every aspect of their room's behavior simultaneously. It does not. It shows one mathematically valid view of a complex acoustic reality. And it is hiding information, not through malice, through mathematics. But mathematics isn't listening. Here comes trap 3. This genuinely surprised me when I first understood it. We usually believe our measurement microphone is telling the truth. After all, it ships with a calibration file which tells REW to compensate. The calibration file is an average created in an anechoic chamber. But remember, your microphone's response changes, subtly but measurably, depending on where sound arrives from. We treat these calibration files like gospel, don't we? But your microphone is telling you a half-truth. You are measuring what a calibrated, averaged, angle-dependent electret capsule can capture of your room, but I'm sure that your ears can do a lot more than a microphone. Let's bring this all together and give the solutions. Solution number 1, the single microphone position trap. Always measure at different points and average. Trust the trends, not the absolute numbers. If REW shows a 12 dB peak at 72 Hz, do not assume the number is exact. If the peak appears consistently across multiple positions, it is real. If it vanishes when you shift 6 inches, it was an artifact. Always spatially average before you act. Trap solution 2, the Nyquist-Shannon tradeoff. Understand what the waterfall is actually showing you. A waterfall plot is trading time resolution for frequency resolution. Every slice is a mathematical compromise. Use it to identify modal decay patterns, broad persistent resonances. Trap solution 3. Know what your microphone does not know. Your calibration file is a starting point, not a guarantee. It was measured in conditions that do not match your room. The best thing you can do is trust your ears when they disagree with the graph. They are processing information the microphone never captured. Now the foolproof check I promised. Before you waste money on any new equipment based on a measurement, verify that change with a completely different measurement method. Validate your REW sweep with a smartphone app like Spectroid or Audio Tools. Watch whilst you listen to some favorite tracks. Enable peak hold. This gives a raw, unfiltered, real-time test. You will see how closely the real sound spectrum in your room aligns with REW. If both methods agree, you are probably right. If they disagree, trust the one that sounds right, because ultimately you are not listening to a graph. The phone app tells a different story. It shows energy appearing and disappearing at frequencies the average sweep never captured. Brief resonances triggered by specific musical passages. Cancellation zones that shift as you lean forward in your chair. Neither of these measurements is wrong, but one of them, Room EQ Wizard, is incomplete in ways that matter for how your system actually sounds. These 3 traps, the single point trap, the Nyquist trade-off, and the calibration blind spot, are not reasons to abandon REW. They are reasons to use it better, to understand what it is actually showing you. Same speakers, same amplifier, same track, different measurement discipline, different understanding of your room. If you try the spatial averaging experiment, 5 measurements, 5 positions, overlay them, put what you found in the comments. I would genuinely like to know whether your single point measurement was telling the whole truth. Thank you from the Yorkshire Audiophile. If you are interested in these topics, please consider subscribing. Goodbye for now, and hope to see you soon.